Kevin, do you want to jump in here for a second?
Yeah, I'd love to ask you about the resources being marshaled not just by the United States, but I think one of the interesting things to come out of this whole experience is the collaboration that we're seeing with the Canadians, with the United Kingdom and their resources, and how that is working together across these different countries, different navies, different coast guards.
Well, that's a great point also, and it obviously brings the world together and this community together, and hopefully it will open up future discussions so we can eliminate these problems, or at least be able to react faster and better. I know, again, there's a lot of controversy over this. Your previous guest I heard was talking about, Navy assets, and he's spot on. Deploying these assets is not an easy undertaking. I believe you mentioned the Navy Curve 1 system. My sources from within the Navy told me that system is currently operating in the South Pacific. So trying to get that from, out of operation and packed up and deployed, it's impossible to do. So they gathered the assets that they have. You have to remember, this is not an everyday occurrence. We don't have submersibles going down to these depths every day, so they're obviously not planned for situations like this. This is going to be I believe, a huge controversial subject for the next weeks, months.
Yeah, real quickly.
Dakota, it's Kevin Walling with a follow-up question about the debris specifically. Can you talk about the kind of resources in the water right now, the potential for them to actually bring something up from the bottom of the ocean? Are they analyzing photos? Where is that analysis taking place? Of course, we're going to get a lot more answers at that 3 p.m. Press conference in Boston, but certainly the process going on right now in the short term. Would love to hear you speak to that, Dakota.
Well, side-scanning sonar is part of the capabilities of these remotely operated vehicles. So you can get kind of dimensional data, in a flat sense of what that looks like. You can also, again, the photographic evidence. Is it white and shiny? Does it appear to be components that are known to be on that vessel? And then if one of these ROVs has a grappling arm, and some of them do, you could actually pick up a piece that's not 10 tons, the weight of the entire vessel, and bring that to the surface. Now, that recovery time is additional time on the clock, but physical inspection, bringing it up, possible, visual inspection possible, and then sonar inspection, those 3 data points will tell us what we're dealing with.
Bobby, it's Kevin Walling. You brought up an excellent point at the outset in terms of the weather conditions that we're experiencing both above the sea and under the ocean. I want, if you could take a moment and describe some of the constraints. I know there was actually a short kind of time window for the Titan to go down there without, concerns about weather and currents on that travel. Can you talk about how that impedes this recovery effort and then potentially an investigation effort as well?
Well, sure, because not only do you have the ROV operating on the bottom, but you have this ship on the top side that's going up and down with the weather, with the tides, and with the currents, and with the weather conditions. And so you're operating from an unstable platform on the surface, and you're working with actually the much more stable conditions down below. So just like Mount Everest, every year you have very short windows where you can do these expeditions. The same thing with the ocean. You have short weather windows to operate with, and so if you have short weather windows to get down there, then the rescuers are operating in that same short window.
We've all been captured by this moment collectively. I was reflecting on today's gospel, which actually comes from the book of Matthew, and it's where Jesus imparts the Lord's Prayer to his disciples. So I think prayers are certainly involved in this entire process, but to Kennedy's point, to your point, we can never lose that sense of adventure, right? And pushing the envelope. You talk about Richard Branson, Elon Musk, pushing that envelope. That could be the worst takeaway from this, is to pull back, right? We will honor them, hopefully we'll find them, but that should never take away that sense of adventure that defines this country.